From translation, TLB, the Living Bible. This 10th day of the year. Today we are reading passages Genesis 30 to 31. Genesis chapter 30, verses 1 to 44. When Rachel saw that she wasn't having children for Jacob, she became jealous of her sister. She said to Jacob, "Give me children, or I'll die." Jacob became angry with Rachel. "Am I God who has kept you from having children?" he demanded. She said, "Here's my maid Bilhah. Sleep with her and she will have children for me, so that I can have a family through her, just as Leah did." So Rachel gave Bilhah to Jacob as his wife, and he slept with her. Bilhah became pregnant, and to Jacob a son. Then Rachel said, "God has vindicated me and answered my prayer by giving me a son." So she named him Dan. Bilhah became pregnant again, and to Jacob a second son. Rachel said, "I have fought a great battle with my sister, and I have won." So she named him Naphtali. When Leah saw that she had stopped having children, she gave her maid Zilpah to Jacob as a wife. Zilpah to Jacob a son. Then Leah said, "I have been lucky," so she named him Gad. Zilpah had another son. Leah said, "I am happy, for the women will call me blessed," so she named him Asher. During the wheat harvest, Reuben went out into the fields and found some mandrake plants, which were believed to help a woman conceive children. He brought them to his mother, Leah. But Rachel said to Leah, "Please give me some of your son's mandrakes. Is it not enough that you have taken my husband?" Leah retorted, "Now you also want my son's mandrakes." But Rachel said, "I will let him sleep with you tonight if you give me the mandrakes." So when Jacob came in from the fields that evening, Leah went out to meet him and said, "You are to sleep with me tonight, for I have hired you with the mandrakes that my son found." So he slept with her that night. God heard that Leah was not loved, so she conceived again, and to Jacob a sixth son. Then Leah said, "God has rewarded me for giving my maid to my husband," so she named him Issachar. Leah conceived again, and to Jacob a seventh son. Then she said, "God has endowed me with a good gift. Now my husband will live with me because I have him 7 sons," so she named him Zebulun. Afterwards she gave birth to a daughter and named her Dinah. Then God remembered Rachel and answered her prayer by enabling her to have children. She became pregnant, and to Jacob a son. "God has taken away my disgrace," she said. She named him Joseph, for she said, "May the Lord give me another son." After Joseph was born, Jacob said to Laban, "Send me on my way so I can return to my own homeland. Give me my wives and children for whom I have worked for you, and I will be on my way. You know how well I have worked for you." Laban replied, "Please stay with me. I have learned by divination that the Lord has blessed me because of you. Name your wages." Jacob said to him, "How much will you pay me to continue working for you?" Laban said, "How much should I pay you?" And Jacob replied, "You don't have to pay me anything. Just do this one thing for me, and I will go on tending your flocks and herds. Let me go through all your flocks today and remove from them every speckled or spotted sheep, every dark-colored lamb, and every spotted or speckled goat. They will be my wages. In the future, when you check on my wages, if you find that among my goats there are any speckled or spotted ones, or any dark-colored lambs, they will have become my wages. But if you find that they are not among my goats, then I will know that you have cheated me. Let me keep them as my wages." "That's fine," Laban agreed. "Let it be as you have said." That same day Laban removed all the male goats that were streaked or spotted, and all the female goats that were speckled or spotted, every dark-colored lamb, and he gave these to his sons. He put 3 days' journey between himself and Jacob, while Jacob continued to tend the rest of Laban's flocks. Jacob, however, took fresh-cut branches from poplar, almond, and plane trees, and made white stripes on them by peeling the bark and exposing the white inner wood of the branches. Then he placed the peeled branches in the watering troughs in front of the flocks when they came to drink. When the flocks were in heat and came to drink, they mated in front of the branches. And they bore young that were streaked, speckled, or spotted. Jacob set apart the young of the flock by themselves, but he made the rest face the streaked and dark-colored animals that belonged to Laban. Thus he made separate flocks of his own, and did not put them with Laban's animals. When the stronger females were in heat, Jacob placed the branches in the troughs in front of the animals, so they would mate near the branches, but if the animals were weak, he did not place them there. So the weak animals went to Laban, and the strong ones to Jacob. In this way the man grew exceedingly prosperous, and came to own large flocks, and maidservants and menservants, and camels and donkeys. Genesis chapter 31, verses 1 to 55. Now Jacob heard that Laban's sons were saying, "Jacob has taken everything our father owned, and has gained all this wealth from what belonged to our father." And Jacob noticed that Laban's attitude toward him was not what it had been. Then the Lord said to Jacob, "Go back to the land of your fathers and to your relatives, and I will be with you." So Jacob sent word for Rachel and Leah to come to him out in the field where his flocks were. He said to them, "I see that your father's attitude toward me is not what it was before, but the God of my father has been with me. You know that I've worked for your father with all my strength, Yet your father has cheated me by changing my wages 10 times. However, God has not allowed him to harm me. If he said, the speckled animals will be your wages, then all the flocks gave birth to speckled young, and if he said, the streaked animals will be your wages, then all the flocks gave birth to streaked young. So God has taken away your father's livestock and has given them to me. In the mating season of the flocks, I had a dream in which I looked up and saw that the male goats mating with the flock were streaked, speckled, and spotted. The angel of God said to me in the dream, Jacob, and I said, Here I am. He said, Look up and see that all the male goats mating with the flock are streaked, speckled, and spotted, for I have seen all that Laban has been doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar and where you made a vow to me. Now leave this land at once and go back to your native land. Then Rachel and Leah replied, Do we still have any share in our father's inheritance? Are we not regarded by him as foreigners? He not only sold us, but he used up what was paid for us. Surely all the wealth God has taken away from our father belongs to us and our children. So do whatever God has told you. Then Jacob put his children and his wives on camels and fled with everything he owned. He crossed the Euphrates and set out for the hill country of Gilead. Meanwhile Laban had gone to shear his sheep, and Rachel stole her father's household gods. Jacob outwitted Laban the Aramean by not telling him he was leaving. He fled with everything he owned, crossed the Euphrates, and headed for the hill country of Gilead. On the 7th day Laban was told that Jacob had fled. Taking his relatives with him, he pursued Jacob 7 days and caught up with him in the hill country of Gilead. Then God came to Laban the Aramean in a dream at night and said to him, Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad. Laban caught up with Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the hill country of Gilead, and Laban and his relatives camped there too. Then Laban said to Jacob, What have you done? You have deceived me and carried off my daughters like captives in war. Why did you run off secretly and deceive me? Why didn't you tell me, so I could send you away with joy and singing to the music of timbrels and harps? You didn't even let me kiss my grandchildren and daughters goodbye. You have done a foolish thing. I have the power to harm you, but the God of your father said to me last night, Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad. Now you have gone off because you long to return to your father's house. But why did you steal my gods? Jacob answered Laban, I was afraid, because I thought you would take your daughters away from me by force. But if you find anyone who has your gods, he shall not live. In the presence of our relatives, you may search through all my possessions. If you find anything belonging to you, take it. Now Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen the idols. So Laban went into Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent and into the tent of the 2 female servants, but he found nothing. After he came out of Leah's tent, he entered Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the household gods and put them inside a camel's saddle and was sitting on them. Laban searched through the whole tent but did not find them. Rachel said to her father, Don't be angry, my lord, that I cannot stand up in your presence. I'm having my period. So he searched but could not find the household gods. Then Jacob became angry and confronted Laban. What is my crime? He demanded. What sin have I committed that you have hotly pursued me? Now that you have searched through all my possessions, what have you found of all your household goods? Put it here in front of our relatives and theirs, and let them judge between the 2 of us. I have been with you for 20 years. Your sheep and goats never miscarried, nor did I eat the rams of your flocks. I did not bring you animals torn by wild beasts. I bore the loss myself. You demanded payment from me for whatever was stolen by day or night. This was my situation. The heat consumed me by day and the cold by night, and sleep fled from my eyes. It has been like this for the 20 years I have been in your household. I worked for you 14 years for your 2 daughters and 6 years for your flock, and you changed my wages 10 times. If the God of my father, the God of Abraham and the fear of Isaac had not been with me, you would surely have sent me away empty-handed. But God has seen my hardship and the toil of my hands, and he rebuked you last night. Laban answered Jacob, The women are my daughters, the children are my children, and the flocks are my flocks. All you see is mine. But what can I do these days about my daughters and their children? Come now, let's make a covenant, you and I, and let it be a witness between us. Jacob took a stone and set it up as a pillar. He said to his relatives, Gather some stones. So they took stones and piled them in a heap, and they ate there by the heap. Laban named it Jegar-Sahadutha, and Jacob named it Galeed. Laban said, This heap is a witness between you and me today. That is why it was called Galeed. It was also called Mizpah, for he said, May the Lord keep watch between you and me when we are away from each other. If you mistreat my daughters, or if you take any wives besides my daughters, even though no one is with us, remember that God is a witness between you and me. Laban also said to Jacob, Here is this heap, and here is this pillar that I have set up between you and me. This heap is a witness, and this pillar is a witness, that I will not go past this heap to your side to harm you, and you will not go past this heap and pillar to my side to harm me. May the God of Abraham, the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge between us." So Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac, and Jacob offered a sacrifice on the mountain and invited his relatives to eat a meal. They ate the meal and spent the night on the mountain. Early the next morning, Laban got up and kissed his grandchildren and daughters and blessed them. Then Laban left and returned home.